Hello, and welcome to Pandora Astrology's monthly horoscope for September of 2023. We are the astrologers of Pandora Astrology. I'm Jamie Kale Miller. I'm in Berkeley, California.
And I'm Julia Mijas, and I'm in San Francisco, California.
Let's take a look at what's happening this month. Happy birthday, Virgo. If you haven't gotten your yearly birthday reading yet, it's not too late to benefit from a thorough look at your solar return birthday chart. It tells you all about the year ahead and comes with fantastic affirmations you can use all year to create your best life. You'll find a link for it in the description below. Well, Juno is spending the month in Leo, which is your 12th house, Virgo. Juno is a very social side of us. And when Juno goes into the 12th house, you can find that you're just wanting to socially withdraw. Juno is about partnership, is about relationship, mostly about committed partnerships, whether business ones or personal ones, like a best friend of duration or a co-parent or a spouse. But any way you look at it, when Juno enters the 12th house, you can find that you're kind of wanting to retreat from these sorts of partnerships, maybe have some time alone, or potentially, if you feel a strong sense of spiritual alignment with your a partner that you have, then this can be a good time to retreat together. But if you don't have that spiritual alignment, you might rather just be on your own and kind of socially withdrawn while Juno is here. And that's okay. There's a season for everything. It's not always time to like go to parties and dance on tabletops. And this is one of those times when you just might feel like you'd rather stay home, and that's okay. Ceres is traveling along through Libra. She starts the month in Libra right here in your second house. And that's pretty terrific because Ceres loves to be in the second house. And I would have spoken to this somewhat last month, that Ceres here is in her home turf of food, body, money, and the things that connect us to the physical world. And she's very interested in all of those things going in a balanced way. So this is a really good transit for balancing your diet, balancing your budget, and coming up with a balanced set of life practices to have sustainable health and longevity. So I'm pretty much a fan of this one. But mid-month, Ceres is going to move on into the next house, which is the third house, and she's not quite as much of a fan of this territory. The third house is a very cerebral house. It's a house of thinking and learning and curiosity and questions. And it's a house of the superficial connections that we make in our lives, like the people that we talk to a little bit every day and we don't really know them, but we're friendly with them. For example, your siblings or your housemates or your neighbors, or, the guy behind the counter at the corner store. These light kind of connections are really what the third house is about. So this is a cerebral realm. This is about thinking. And Ceres is so much a goddess of embodiment that she struggles somewhat in this house. So when Ceres enters this house, and she's going to be here into next month, she's definitely going to finish out the month here. And she usually spends a month or two per house, more like 2 months. And you may find that when Ceres enters your third house, that you start to kind of get more abstract and thinky about your life of the body, instead of being embodied and fully occupying your own form. And so you might like get great ideas for a dietary change, or you might make a food plan and then find that you absolutely don't implement it. So you got to watch out for that. And if you want to get some benefit out of all of the intelligence that Ceres has access to here while she's in the third house, to make those kind of great plans, like build those spreadsheets for your budget and your finances. Go ahead and make that food plan with the shopping and the recipes, but then don't neglect to actually do something about it. And now I want to talk about Jupiter. Jupiter is traveling through Taurus right now, and it is occupying this sign this year. And Jupiter's a luck bringer. Jupiter brings the fun and the confidence and the enthusiasm and the excitement that can be infectious and can draw opportunities to you. Now, the ninth house is home for Jupiter. Jupiter loves to be in this house. It's his own territory. It is connected with travel, multiculturalism, growth experiences, adventures, exploration, and it's a house of the higher mind, religious thought, philosophical thought, and putting together a worldview that helps you to bounce back when life is hard. And Jupiter in this house is really, really good at all of his usual stuff. So he can just give you a year of confidence and enthusiasm, a year with travel in it, a year with growth experiences in it. And also this is a really great position if you run a business and you need to do some marketing and plan some marketing strategies while Jupiter is in this house, because Jupiter is the big voice and Jupiter is not afraid of public speaking. So you may be wondering, if Jupiter's going to be in this house all year, why am I bothering mentioning this now? Well, it's because on September 4th, Jupiter goes retrograde and begins the retrograde journey of the year. Now, Jupiter goes retrograde for a couple of months every year. That's completely normal. And he's going to be retrograde for the rest of the year. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, his journey to expand you and help you to grow and expand your worldview and educate you and give you adventures, this journey only deepens. And so if you are involved in a growth process and you're trying to expand your confidence about something, or you are, endeavoring to build some marketing campaigns for your business, then this retrograde day is a really good one to keep track of, because it might be a day in which there's some sort of shift in your activities and where you acknowledge to yourself that you can't go on the same way you always have been and actually grow. And so this can be a pivotal day for that kind of change. Hey, Julia, what's up with Venus, Mercury, and Mars for Virgo this month?
Well, I've got some great news for you, Virgo, because Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to go direct mid-month. And this can be a very personally frustrating time for you when one's ruling planet goes retrograde. And it does happen quite a bit, Virgo, 3 times a year, so not easy. But this has also been happening in your first house of self, so that even makes it just much more personal. And what you may have been dealing with and what you can expect for the first half of the month is just being misunderstood by other people, like trying to get your point across, but maybe people are only half listening, or maybe people aren't quite receiving what you're trying to say, or maybe you're trying to find the right words, but you just kind of mumble them and stumble them a little bit too, because you usually are good with language. The first house itself also represents the energies you project out to others. So you can also just be thinking about yourself in relation to others a lot now. Maybe reviewing how you put yourself forward. Do you need to sort of change what you're wearing, change your mannerisms, change how you approach other people as well? Now, by the 6th, this is an important time to keep track of, because Mercury is going to conjoin the sun while retrograde, and we call that Lesser Epiphany Day. So it is a time of clarity amidst all this retrograde confusion. You might get clarity on how you come across to other people. You might get clarity on how to articulate yourself better and where the misunderstandings have been coming from. Now, by September 15th, Mercury is going to go direct in your first house. And oh my God, that's going to feel so much better. For the second half of the month, you're going to articulate yourself a lot better. It's a very good time to impress other people with your mind. So if you have a job interview, if you have to speak up in class about something, you will be able to find the right words for it, which is definitely much, much better. Now, Venus is also going direct this month, but earlier on September 3rd, she's been retrograde for a number of weeks now this summer. And this has all been happening in your 12th house. So Venus is your relationships. Venus retrogrades are time of relationship review. And the 12th house is a house of service. It's a house of spirituality. It is a house that rules fantasy and the ethereal dimensions in life. Now, you're already a very helpful person, Virgo. But Venus, while she's been retrograde in your 12th, and while she continues to be in your 12th, when she goes direct on the 3rd, it's a time where you might have to be of service to your relationship. Maybe your partner's going through a little crisis and you have to help them out in some way. And maybe you're thinking, do my partner and I, do we have the same sort of, are we aligned on a spiritual level? Are we aligned in terms of charity and in terms of service to other people? The 12th house is about serving something greater than yourself. So whatever that is for you, whether you're a spiritual type or more of an altruistic type, you might be wanting to be more on the same page with your partner when it comes to that. Maybe you have a rich fantasy life and your partner really doesn't. And you're wondering whether you guys can have kind of a shared imaginary time together with Venus in the 12th. And if you have been single, Virgo, you might be thinking about your next relationship in these terms as well. Now, on September 3rd, Venus goes direct in this house. It is going to take some of the pressure off. And again, you could continue to be of service to your partner in some way to help them out, or maybe they do something to help you out if you're going through a little tough time here and there. This can really make a relationship a lot stronger too, to really feel like that you guys are there for one another. Finally, Mars, the planet of action and activity, is going to be in your second house of finance and value month. Mars in the second is more material than Venus. Mars, ego-driven planet. He's a planet of action and activity. The second house is a very material place. It rules your money. It rules your stuff. The more sort of deeper meaning of the second house is it can be your values, the things that are foundational to who you are, such as political values, religious values, spiritual values. But when Mars is in this house, you could feel really driven to kind of increase money in some way. Maybe you want to sell some things of yours, maybe you're not using your car a lot and you're like, I could really use the money and sell it. Maybe you are driven to sort of get more money at work by asking your boss for a raise or expanding your business in some way, or working overtime, getting time and a half and really just kind of getting that paycheck. That's all well and good and a good use of this transit, but Mars in the second can be very impulsive. So really be patient if you're going to sell something big. Really be patient if you want to acquire new things, which is very, very possible with Mars in the second. Getting a little frustrated with money and wanting to buy something and going, let me just put it on credit. Probably not the best thing to do right now unless you can get a good return policy. When you realize a couple of days later you didn't need that thing as much as you thought you did, and now you have to work more overtime. Mars in the second can sometimes bring up frustrations and conflict over values too, with people in your life. So as long as you kind of take heed to sort of watch those areas, Mars in the second can be a fulfilling time in terms of working hard to get a little bit more material stuff that you need.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, Jamie here. Horoscopes and moon videos are fascinating, but they're also not personalized for you. That's why we run live workshops monthly where you can get answers about your own chart. This month's topic is optimizing Mercury retrograde for writers, managers, and learners. Mercury retrogrades are notorious for making a mess of your office, your paperwork, your projects, and your brain. But it doesn't have to be that way. In this workshop, I'll explain how to handle this difficult transit just in time for back to school. This workshop is expressly for our Demigod Patreon subscribers who pay only $15 a month for access to live events like this one. It's easy to sign up at the Patreon link in the description below. I'd love to see you there. Now let's get back to the video. Well, I got a couple of moons to talk about, starting with the new moon in Virgo happening here on the 14th, right there in your first house, Virgo. So you might feel this one personally. That's pretty normal when a moon lands in your own sign. And this one we're calling Seeds of Selfless Service because it contains a very practical, grounded, supportive, and helpful moon in Virgo that just wants to be of use and doesn't really want a lot of attention for that. And it is opposed to Neptune in Pisces, which is more about being of spiritual service, which is to say, bringing compassion, bringing empathy, and making other people feel like they're part of something greater, and that we're all connected. And so Neptune brings in the spiritual component, while the sun and moon bring in the physical component. And there is more to this moon. I'll let you find out about it on the forecast page on our website, pandoraastrology.com. Just go to the forecast page and find the videos that we've made about this month's moons. And this one, I think you're probably going to feel pretty strongly because it lands right here in your own sign. And you might find yourself wanting to begin some new projects and plant some seeds that are, going to have things begin in a way that's especially organized and also meaningful. And then we have a second moon later on in this month, which is a full moon in Aries. And that's coming up on the 29th. And this one we're calling the Sacred Fire of Self-Care. And that's because of the involvement of Vesta. And also the fact that the moon is sitting in a fire sign, which is Aries. Now, moon in Aries, which lands in your 8th house, can be pretty scrappy, pretty intense, pretty driven, even self-absorbed and clueless about its effect on others. And you might be feeling some irritation and impatience, especially in your intimate relationships with other people. And maybe even wondering, why is it that people need to keep secrets, and why can't they just be honest with you? And you might be having some anger or some upset coming up about that. And this moon opposes the sun and Pallas Athena in Libra, in the much more grounded 2nd house in your chart. And this is really where the voice of reason is coming from under this full moon. These Libra placements just really think that negotiation is possible and that it's possible to find what is fair. But Vesta herself is the keeper of the sacred flame. She is a goddess of the temple. She is all about creating a sacred space in which really powerful things can happen. So we're calling this the sacred fire of self-care because Vesta in Cancer thinks that the solution is to figure out what is the best way to do self-care when there are super selfish people in the world, and when you want things to be fair and balanced. And sometimes maybe you just need to retreat to your own corner and draw a circle around yourself and engage in some pretty intense self-care to find that balance. And it would not at all be surprising if some of the themes that come up during this full moon for you specifically are around your own resources and possessions, your own money, and the ways that your money intersects with and merges with the money of other people, such as a spouse or a business partner, or around themes like taxes, insurance, or debt. And so these may be some of the themes that come up for you around this moon. Now, there is going to be a seasonal change this month, as there always is. And if you notice, you can see that at the beginning of the month, there's this Leo activity here in your 12th house, which might cause you to feel kind of socially withdrawn. And at the beginning of the month, lots of activity in your 1st house. And it's really, really great to let others pay attention to you and praise you and notice you. And it's good to shine while the sun is moving through your 1st house, as it is at the beginning of the month, Virgo. After all, if you're a sun sign Virgo, this is birthday season for you. And even if you're a Virgo rising, having the sun in the first house can just have you radiate so much inspiration and excitement, and maybe even have a larger tolerance for attention from other people than you usually do. However, the seasonal change, which comes on the 23rd, shows that um, a lot of planets have migrated on into your second house, bringing up a new theme that will preoccupy you at this point. And that is the second house themes of food, body, money, practical matters, budget, diet, and physical self-care. And wherever the sun goes, we want to shine the sunlight of our high quality attention. And that way things can really thrive in that area. So as the sun moves into your second house and for the 30 days thereafter, this is a really good time to put attention on your finances and how you organize them, how you run your budget, how you take money in, spend it, save it, and all that good stuff. And also to put some high quality attention on your life of the body. How do you take care of yourself physically? Are you keeping your eyes on longevity and health? And how do you eat? How do you digest the food that you eat? And could you be eating in a way that's different and maybe more appropriate for this season of your life? This is a really great 30 days every year to spend with exactly these kinds of preoccupations to spend your attention on.
Well, that's all we have for you today. If you love Pandora Astrology's free and informative horoscopes, then please do hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and share these videos with your friends.
You can find out so much more about how this month's transits affect you in very personal timing in our monthly Patreon workshops. Find the link in the description below to get started. Enjoy the equinox, and until next time, we'll see you around the cosmos.
Bye-bye.